On match day at Colchester's Community Stadium, the stands would usually be busy with thousands of football fans. Now they lie eerily empty. League Two teams like Colchester United rely heavily on ticket sales, and COVID-19 has hit this club hard. 40% of permanent staff here have been made redundant. But just when they'd prepared for fans to return as safely as possible, the government changed its mind.
So you've done quite a lot of work to make this stadium as secure as possible?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So what we wanted to do, we understood that we could keep people socially distanced by putting gaps between bubbles and also sitting them in every other row. We understood that. Our concern was how someone could maybe get up during the middle of a game to go to the toilet or go and get a drink without brushing past people. That was a concern. So what we did, we made gaps in the seats and we put steps so that if somebody's perhaps sitting in this seat and needs to leave, they've got ways to exit without brushing past anybody else.
And the whole of this row would be unoccupied?
Absolutely.
It was a blow for Robbie Cowling, Colchester United's chairman.
It was very, very frustrating because it didn't seem to make sense when I looked at what things I could do and then what I wasn't going to be able to do. So, I could get on an aeroplane, I could go to the cinema, I could go in the pub, but I couldn't come and sit in an outdoor stadium and watch a game of football where all these measures have been taken to make it safe. So it didn't seem correct. I didn't understand at all.
So what exactly has the government done to help?
The furlough scheme was brilliant. The furlough scheme was brilliant to start with, but in some sectors I feel it perhaps could have been carried on. It's like they've sent out this rescue boat with only half a tank of petrol, you know what I mean? And it's only got us so far.
Do you think the Premier League needs to step in?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the Premier League sits on top of a pyramid, right? And it's a really proud thing we should have in our game, this pyramid of the system that goes all the way down into the non-league as well. And the pyramid sits on the top of that and benefits completely from it. So you can go through players. You see Ollie Watkins got a hat-trick at the weekend. He was scoring against Colchester just a few seasons ago when he was at Exeter. Harry Maguire, the captain of England, I remember him at Sheffield United, so playing against Colchester. So, and you can probably go through most of the England team, most of the Premiership teams, and all their players have come from grassroots. They've all played under 9s, under 10s football somewhere. So, yeah, the Premier League seems to think that we suck from it, but it's not the case. It sucks from the rest of the pyramid system. So, yeah, it really should step in and do something.
Are you optimistic they will?
They have to. I mean, if they can't see it for themselves, I mean, if they think they're enjoying this penthouse view and they're not in danger from the building that's crumbling below them, they're mad. They're absolutely mad.
How important are clubs like Colchester to the local community?
I think it's massively important, not just to the people that support Colchester United. Like I say, people come here and give blood. People come here and, get married. People come here and have wakes. People come here for all sorts of reasons. It is a community stadium. As I said, more people come here for non-football events than they do. And, it's a hub. The very first thing we did when they did lockdown was we decided we wanted to be part of a solution. So we got in touch with all the authorities and said, look, we've got a stadium here. If you want to come and use it, if the NHS want to use it in any way, do so. We don't want any money for it. And we're not the only club, we're not saints. Every football club that I know has acted in that way, has done something to be a part of the solution for the pandemic.
We've got the COVID test around the corner.
We've got the COVID test going on here now.
Yeah.
And as I say, we don't charge anything for that. We just wanted to be part of a solution. And as I say, that I think football's stepped in. Our community boys have been brilliant, delivering parcels. Our players have been ringing pensioners, been ringing the vulnerable. So I feel we've done our part, but we need a bit of help too.
To give a sense of scale, Macclesfield Town recently went under with debts that amounted to Gareth Bale's reported weekly wage. But Premier League clubs may feel that too much is being asked of them. Millions of pounds already flow from the top division to lower leagues every year, and they too are affected by the ban on supporters. In an interview this week, the Premier League's chief executive, Richard Masters, said clubs feel they've been hit with a quadruple whammy. Firstly, that the optimism of October the 1st has been taken away. Secondly, that there will be a sports bailout, but it won't include football. Thirdly, that the Premier League will be expected to secure the future of the EFL while dealing with the implications of having no fans until possibly March. And finally, the opening up of entertainment arenas within sometimes a couple of miles of football grounds without any roadmap for the return of football supporters. The Culture Secretary, Oliver Dowden, told Sophie Ridge on Sunday 2 weeks ago that the Premier League needs to play its part and help smaller clubs. He's vowed to throw everything at getting fans back in stadiums sooner rather than later. But critics say the government needs to do more.
Firstly, get the test, trace and isolate system working properly. That's affecting absolutely every aspect of our life, and it affects our ability as football supporters to get back into stadia. Secondly, get football clubs, particularly those in League One and League Two and in the non-league, get them round the table, or albeit on Zoom at the moment, and talk them through the logic of what you're doing and how you think we can put together a plan for football. I don't think there's a social problem that Britain has that can't be helped by sport in general and football specifically. So if anybody in government is snobbish about football, I don't know why they would be, and I think it's time they should grow up, because actually football is part of the solution.
In Westminster, you hear an awful lot of people worrying, understandably, about the future of the arts and the impact that COVID could have on our culture. But for millions of people, coming to grounds like this, supporting their local team, is the highlight of their week. And for lower league clubs in particular, they're really on the brink.
There are hopes that a bailout deal could be agreed later this month after the transfer window shuts. Without it, dozens of clubs will be fighting for their future.